In this video, we are going to discuss how you can create an array of objects and how you can loop over that array. And why do we need an array of objects? For example, imagine that I want to list all the cell phones in my house. So I have myself, my wife, and my two kids. Everybody has a cell phone. So I'd like to have an array that describe all these objects, right? All these cell phones, for example. And you could do this with TVs and things like that. So that's what we're going to do. And that's what is the block 4 about. So just copy the block 4 that is in the code inserts the item number 9, right? So go ahead and paste it there in our HTML file. Don't forget to right click and format. All right. And let's go for it. So what we have here is just what? We have block 4, and the block 4 here, I'm creating an array. How do I know that it's an array? Because of the square brackets here and there. So we have an array, and the array has items, and the items are separated by commas. So that's are the commas. And instead of having just a number, I have objects. So this is one object, this is another, and this is another. So it's very similar to any given array that we have already work with. So it's very close in terms of syntax, how you create that. So how do you loop over? It's almost the same thing as we done before when we loop over a regular array or for integers, for example. So you can use the regular for loop. So we're going to create an index there, a positional index, starting from 0. And then I could put here, I'm going just to remove this very quickly. I could put 3 there because we have 3 TVs, 1, 2, 3. And what I did right now is I just did it. I counted myself 1, 2, 3, and I put 3 there. The problem of hard code with 3 is there are some situations where you get objects from a search, right? So you want to know all the books in JavaScript, and you're going to get something from like Amazon bookstore. You can get like a list of 120, and you do the same thing for Python, you might get 200 books. So you should not hard code with a number, a fixed number here. What you need to do is kind of count like 1, 2, 3, what it comes to you. But thankfully, it's the browser or the JavaScript interpreter has a way of counting it for you. So you just do like this. So what you're doing here is you're saying, for this array, could you please count for me how much elements you have there? So this is a built-in function and or property of our array. And the JavaScript interpreter is going to give you, in this case, it's going to replace this whole thing with the number 3. And again, if you get this from another source that you don't know how many will come, it will count for you. So you don't hard code, and this will be dynamically assign a value when you run this code. All right. And okay, so I'm going to do what? I want to get, for example, my TV first. So how do? You get this array and you say, give me the element position at the 0 position here. So basically that's what you're doing. You're saying the array name. So TV is in my house, TV is in my house. And you're saying for the position 0, because it starts from 0. So this whole thing that I'm highlighting here right now, this whole thing will be replaced with my TV. So this whole thing here will be my TV, and then I can display using the dot display to see the features. And then when I loop over, I is going to be 1 instead of 0. And again, I want this array, the position 1, so it's going to be your TV. So where I highlighted here is going to be your TV dot display. And then you do this, you done this 3 times, and then you're going to get the results, all right, that you want. You're going to get the features of the 3 TVs. You can do the same thing using a kind of a different for loop. Uh, some languages say enhanced for loop, for example. It's just a different way of loop that you don't need the index in the loop. And basically what you do is you use the off command here. and you say inside this array, because this is an array, get one item every time and then put it here. So this is a internal, how do I say internal? It's a temporary variable for this for loop. So you need to create this variable. I just created here. And again, the name is up to you how you want to name it. Could be just TV, could be item, could be banana, whatever. It's just a name. So every time it loops over, the JavaScript interpreter is going to put one. In this case, it start with my TV. It's going to put my TV here inside this guy. So you're going to have my TV dot display. That's what you're doing. Then it loops over, it's going to get your TV, and you say your TV dot display, and so on. So you should get the same result here, and there you should get the same result. Now, other way that you can do is using the map, and this is very common way. So you're going to see a lot of code in the internet people use like that. That is basically the same as this guy here. So if you look at this for loop, you see that I created this temporary variable, and in this for loop, I am placing each item of this array here in this temporary variable as we loop over. So this is the same thing. The map is going to put in my house elements, is going to put in this current TV. That is our current TV here, is kind of the same variable name here, but it's going to use, so this is a temporary variable. And what you want to do, so you want to run a function. So this is running a function, and the function has just one line in this case. And again, you are just displaying that current TV. And for the first time, the map is going to put my TV. The second time is going to be your TV, and so on. All right. If this function has more lines, or imagine that you are doing like a calculating like the statistical maximum and minimum or something, you can use curly brackets. So I can use curly brackets here and curly brackets there, and I could add more lines here, something like you could put more lines, and it would execute the same way. All right. But since it's just one line, you don't need that. So we are going to do this way. And again, this third way should provide the same output in the console log as this one. It should be the same kind of information you get from the other two. Control save. Now let's take a look here. We are going to call the block 4. So block 4. Now, remember, we are using my TV, right? So my TV, your TV, and her TV, they are, how do you say, global variables. So we need to run block 2 because it's where they are created and assigned values. But we do not need to run block 3. So I can remove block 3 from this calling here. And that's what you get here. So I'm going to expand this guy here. Let me expand a little bit more. So what you should get is like 3 times the same sets, right? So in block 2, you have block 2, and now we have block 4. And the block 2, remember, we are just creating the 3 TVs that we are using block 4. So here you have one that is 46 inches, or let's get for the price, almost 600, almost 400, and 450. Then you're going to get, again, for the second for loop, the same thing, 600, 400, and 450. So that's the second TV. And then for the map, remember, you are going to get the same output, very similar. So you know that you can do one way or the other way. It should work the same thing, all right? And this is about, in this block 4, how you can loop over well, how to create arrays of objects and how you can loop over each of them. All right. All right. And that's it. Thank you very much.